ahead with the next session, that is a panel discussion on adoption of omni-channel customer strategy to enhance customer engagement and create seamless experience. Please join me in welcoming the moderator, Mr. Navratan Bohra, Vice President Digital Initiatives OPS and IT at Anand Rathi Shares and Stock Brokers Limited. Can we have a big round of applause for Mr. Bohra? He has total 15 years of experience in the BFSI domain, exposure of working in financial services domain with equity, derivatives, currency, commodity, insurance, banking, mutual fund, financial institution and broking industry. Worked in all aspects of product, technology and digital initiatives of the organization. Specialized in driving vision and roadmap for business to deliver quality products and services. He is qualified chartered accountant and currently working as a vice president and head digital initiatives at Anand Rathi Share and Stock Brokers Limited more than 5 years. Prior to this, for 7 years at Motilal Oswal Security Limited in India. Believe in teamwork, collaboration, innovation, client focus, integrity and implementation. Further, I would like to call the fellow panelist, Mr. Rupam Mazumder, Head Digital Lending, ECL Finance Limited. Mr. Hasit Trivedi, President Chief Digital and AI Officer at Firstsource. Mr. Vaibhav Agarwal, General Manager, Head Digital at Shalina Healthcare. Can we have a big round of applause for the moderator and all our fellow panelists? I would request Mr. Bohra to take over the stage. Thank you.
Hello. Yeah. Good afternoon all and welcome to all the fellow panelists. We have since morning listening about the customer experience and the complete 360 view about the digital transformation journey, using of new technology. We talked about AI, and now we are setting up a contest for discussing about the adoption of omni-channel strategy, how we are trying to adopt an omni-channel strategy and how to create a seamless and giving a customer proper experience, a 360 kind of experience with the help of new tech. Right? So we are here to listen to the different thought leaders. Before we start, I would like to give a small introduction about the panel member as well. Give a brief about yourself and your organization so that basically your audience can relate with the discussion what we are going in the next step. You can start first.
Thanks. I'm Hasit Trivedi. I am Chief Digital and AI Officer for Firstsource. We are into BPO and ITS business, mostly into healthcare and mortgage line of our businesses. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, hi all. So my name is Rupam Mazumder. So I am the head for digital lending for ECL Finance Limited. It is MSME lending vertical for Agarwal Financial Services.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Vaibhav Agarwal. I head the global digital practice for Shalina Healthcare. So we are headquartered in Dubai, we manufacture in India, but we sell in Africa. So it's a different model that we follow. And been with healthcare and digital practice for almost 13 years.
Yeah, thank you. So just to start with, I represent broking industry. We are in the BFSI segment from last 30 years. We have provided all kind of financial services to a customer. So let's start with the discussion. So I would like to hear from you that how do you define an effective omnichannel strategies and what are the core components when we implement the omnichannel strategy? Anyone can share his thought?
I think we need to understand the macro trend before we talk about the omnichannel. Omnichannel, I think in previous session it was told it's been there for some time now. I think the new things which is emerging is that voice becoming potentially universal UI for human to interact with machine. I think this is a big change. It's like a moving from voice to voice. I think enterprise were accustomed to the ESP and analog voice. Now it will be data driven and machine driven voice. So that is the transition. We have to make it across the channel. This will lead to the different way of interaction, which is the conversation AI being the center of way of interaction. Right? So earlier the interaction mechanics was forms and menus. Right? The machine dictated how humans should interact with machine. Now suddenly the power has been given to humans customers, the human will decide how they want to interact with machines. So that is a fundamental change, which is power of natural language interactions will be given. And natural language interaction is very natural to human evolution because language came first and script came later as a human evolution. Correct? It was centuries, hundreds of centuries after that script had come. And then again coming back to the stage where voice and natural language interface is prime communication mechanics is going to be sustainable mechanics. But it is very difficult. It is very, very difficult because our systems, underlying systems in the enterprise world are accustomed to the forms, right? Where we have all the information coming in the forms. And of course, chatbots are there, voice bots are there for almost 5-7 years. Almost every company in the world, whether it's a large, mid or small cap companies, I think everybody has chatbots. But the other reality is that only 2% of chatbots are really used because it doesn't work, because it's not designed for the natural language, while it is supposed to be, but it is designed for forms. Right? It is like you have a kid and you have a vegetable shop. You are the owner, you are selling vegetables, and one day you say, okay, your son or your kid is 5-year-old, sell the vegetables and say, bhindi. Okay. And it has there's a 100 rupees kg, right? You just start interacting with the customers. And the guy comes to purchase a bhindi or a lady finger. He says, what is the price? This guy is 5-year-old kid, smart, he says, okay, it's 100 rupees kg. This guy is impressed, very impressed. Okay, so how much you charge for half a kg? And this kid doesn't know. Right? So this is okay, so other person accustomed to that is a kid, so okay, he might not know calculation. So, fine, so give me half a kg. That guy gives half a kg. So the customer says, okay, can you give some chili along with it? That is the Indian style, okay, after buying certain 50 rupees worth, you expect 2 rupees of chili given free. But it doesn't understand it. This guy says, okay, cancel the order. Now this whole interaction is like similar to what happens in a chatbot. Right? You have been trained for certain things, but you are not trained for whole customer journey. It has not been trained for complete dialogue which happens in any transactions. And thus most of chatbot doesn't. Why it happens? Because it's been designed by technologists. Across the world, all the technology companies, I think all the companies, to all due respects, are the technologists primarily. Right? And the buyers are unfortunately the CIO organization and CTO organization. And the implementation also technology people who are the software engineer, AI engineers or data engineer, whatever. I think the fundamental miss is that you are missing the business element and the people who understand human conversation, language experts, who understand humanics. I think that is the key thing, that is a missing skill. That is missing skill. Technology skill is widely available, tools are widely available, but it doesn't work because this aspect is not available. And I think and now we are graduating directly from the text-based natural language to voice-based natural language. Right? Now the complexity increases. People would love. I think we are all new generation accustomed to not typing. They are talking with all the interfaces, and thus it will be big change to make it work. Now this is where some companies will take a long time to make it work, and some companies will do very short. I feel that people who are doing very quickly will fail because they have not thought about the whole dialogue and interactions, language expertise, humanics aspect, design aspect, and those things will be critical in my view to migrating from voice to voice and killing the forms. The death of forms has to happen in the enterprises. If we are able to do that thing and design it appropriately, I think we are great.
So very, very, very valid point shared by Hasit. The business element basically is missing. We consider that part in the designing the chatbot. I think so that will be able to help us. So I'm going to Rupam. So Rupam, over the period, customer expectation has been changed in the recent years, right? So how do you basically think organizations should adapt to meet this kind of requirement?
Yeah. So when it comes to omnichannel experience, first we understand from the business point of view why we need an omnichannel experience. So from a brand NVC perspective, obviously we want to have a deeper reach. We want to have a lower CAC. We want to have a higher CLV. And also we want to break off from the traditional brick and mortar model of DSA services, agents bringing on files, and have a direct connection with the customer from a sourcing perspective till disbursement and post disbursement monitoring also. Now, what a customer wants. Typically, a customer nowadays wants ease of use. Whenever you are giving him a workflow a journey, he wants a ease of use, and he wants a product which is hyper personalized, which suits his needs and all. Now, and also he wants a proactive approach from the banks and NBFCs that they should come up with their offers and all to him. Okay, they should have a journey which will be self-explanatory and intuitive, which will help the customer. The journey should be seamless. It should be paperless to the extent possible, depending on the ticket size and on the magnum of the loan. And the customer don't want too much data keying by him or too much document upload by him. Thankfully, due to the open API framework and all the different APIs that are there, most of the data and all are like right now taken from the source itself based on the consent of the customer. And also, not from the origination perspective, see there are things where the customer wants a digital footprint being set up with the bank and NBFC. So when we had the traditional ways of customer signing documents, dockets worth of 50 papers, 100 papers, and now we have e-signing in place. Okay, we have DigiLocker in place where it is kind of we have also CQS in place, which is kind of a repository for all the KYC documents and DigiLocker for every kind of document. So these are all the facilities that are there, and a customer wants that a journey should be in such that it typically should end with the customer interaction in matter of 3 or 4 clicks, possibly. If it is possible, you design the journey in a certain way. Also, from a payment reminder perspective, customer wants you to come to the customer, send him SMSs, WhatsApps, depending on the mode that he prefers, that you send him, that is EMI is due. So he can like have his account balances and all up, so that the EMIs are being serviced and all. So you as a bank and NBFC, while you're reaching out to the customer, you have to be having that in mind, that you have to be proactive in your approach. Be it in your offering, the product that you're going ahead with selling to the customer, be it the journeys that you're giving to the customer, because once the customer is there, you have hold of the customer. Once the customer goes off your journey, then it is very hard to take back the customer again. So these are all the factors based on the customer expectation diligence that we from a bank industry perspective are taken into contention.
Yeah, so rightly mentioned, the customer retention is the most important part, what we need to take care when we design our customer journey basically. So we talked about a lot of omnichannel integration with our platform. We get lots of data basically from different omnichannel platforms. So I would like to understand basically how we can leverage on this data point. Right? How can we can create a personalized journey for a customer based on this data? What we have to gather from these different kind of channels. So any thought on this, particularly leveraging of data, creating a personalized, you can say, engagement with the customer?
So yeah, very very valid point, and I think data is the most crucial part of the overall omni-channel marketing. How you unify the data so that you convert these interactions with your customers to connected stories, because that's how you're ultimately going to influence them and sell your product, right? So, and ironically, omni-channel marketing is not even about channels. It's more about customer centricity, where you sort of put out that coherent voice for your brand, which sort of strengthens the relationship between the company and the customer. So, coming directly to your point on data, I think there are two major scenarios that companies have to consider, and they're doing their best to do that. One is the information paradox. So there's a lot of data everywhere, but can we really use it? So for example, I come from pharmaceutical industry, and our customers are really diverse. We have doctors, we have nurses, pharmacists, and we also, in a limited capacity, directly deal with the patients through patient support programs. But concerning the overall regulatory compliances, strong regulatory compliances, the data privacy laws in every country that we operate in, it becomes really difficult to actually use that data, and in what capacity can we use it. Second is the overall data unification and accuracy. So companies have been in the business for almost like 30-40 years, like if I talk about established company. And they have been building their CRM over the years. But how accurate is that CRM? Does that CRM have the capability to unify the journeys that customers are having across different channels. So I think deploying different channels today is not a difficult task. There's so many partners who really bring that service up to you. Maybe you can arrange that data also through so many data providers, but actually if you look at the unification of data and creating that cohesive journey, that you can have one view of the customer, single view of the customer, be it offline, be it online, be it different channels offline, be it multiple channels online, but how do they together knit a story that, okay, this is the customer journey that I'm creating from a company, but how do I take it up from my current stage to a more progressive stage? That's where I think the role of data unification is very, very important.
So very valid point about the data unification. Oh, you can have a centralized, basically a CRM unified solution which consider and the new buzzword which is basically CDP. When you talk about the customer data platform, which collect basically a complete data of a customer, and that data can be used basically for the multiple personalized journey for a customer. Right now, considering this part, what basically organization facing different channels, even in integrating the omni-channel partners, and what can be a strategies basically to overcome this kind of challenges? So if you can add.
I think challenges are of course plenty. I think because the silos are there, business line centric systems have been built, technology at times are legacy. In Western world, at least in India, we don't deal with mainframes. In Western world, we deal with mainframes of the world, base front of the world. So the challenges are plenty. I think, but I think those are manageable. I think in the CX space, what is missing is sticking to fundamentals. I think that technology is there for everything. Almost you name it and technology is there. If we start focusing, and I think one of the session we said that we start from front to back. I think your session. I think we will start with basic that there are customers' expectations are not really changing. I think we are overriding the customer expectation. Customer wants problem to be fixed. Correct? Are we solving the problem? Okay, if not solved, the next expectation can be solved faster. That is the next expectation is there. But we are able to fix the basic expectation of the solving the problem. Then okay, if that is also something, can you solve it without need of my follow-ups? Right? You are able to meet that also. Then you say, can I solve it without follow-up, without asking me the same questions? Right? So and we are struggling to, as an enterprise, are struggling to address these four expectations itself. Right? Majority of the calls which happens on any channel, omni channel, only 60 to 70% problems are getting resolved. 40% are fallback. Then it's not happening on time. Right? It takes time. Then it is you have to call back many times for remaining 40%. Then again call you back. Then again you have to ask the information. Context is missing. So I think that silos are very good, but you know that where this data is society. I think that not sticking to this basic and asking top-down approach of the problems. Instead we are saying, okay, we have this voice bot, we have chat bot, there is personalization, we have so many engines are there, and we try to bring those technology again, and then again those new technology creates another problem that you are creating another set of technology. So in any company, as you said, almost every company has chatbot. In every company has almost 5 different products for chatbots. Right? So I think these challenges are coming because we are not sticking to the basics, and we start empowering consumer on this. I think ultimate goal should be today. What happens? An enterprise calls a customer when they have to sell it, and customer calls a customer when there is a problem. It has to be reversed. If customer has a problem, you are supposed to know upfront, right? And you should be calling back. If you are dispatching something, you know whether it's getting dispatched on time, reaching on time or not. Right? If your network is down, you know whether your network is down or not. Or if your payment transaction is failed, you know it's failed. I don't know why payment transaction fails when the consumer has to raise the request. You know the transaction is failed. The software giving the information is failed, but never ever any most of the enterprises calls back to customers that you are in trouble, don't worry, we'll take care of it. Despite systemically you know the customer is there. And it's always so if you start inversing the problem that customer's problem, I'll call. And automatically if that happens, customer's problem they have to buy. So if you start thinking inverse way of dealing with the engagements, your solutions and this thing will be very different. And I think that is what sticking to fundamentals is great.
Rightly mentioned, because it's many a time we also face whenever we are experiencing customer centers. Suppose a customer is facing an OTP problem. So normally basically it's the customer who basically needs to a contact center. And we are not trying to figure out basically whether he is not coming basically for the OTP problem, he's coming for making a payment or he's coming for doing any kind of thing on our app. And our focus basically came from not basically addressing that particular system. We are more concerned about what is the OTP kind of thing. So now, just a follow-up question to you, Ashok. There are so many technology and tools what we have seen since morning, right? So what are the best you have seen, the effective solution basically in your organization perspective, like to hear from? Yeah.
Okay. First, I think I'll compliment Harshit's point where I think sticking to the basic understanding the customer's issue and solving them is more important. And then, of course, omni-channel approach helps you a lot in solving that and then tackling the future problems. From my experience, I think one of the very, very important case studies I can highlight a couple of years, somewhere around 7 to 8 years back, and I was working with one of the FMCG majors, and there the customer service was extremely, extremely important. So what would happen is, and social media was booming at that time, I think Facebook was booming like anything. So any consumer complaint comes across their pharmaceutical segment, their consumer goods segment, people would put it as a post on social media. And over a period of 2 to 3 years, they had really strengthened their lexicon so much that any negative comment or even something which could be negative was so sensitively highlighted that the customer team, the customer support team would immediately, whatever time of the day or night, they would be getting an update, an alert on some of the comment which is made on their brand, and immediately within 24 hours, the customer would be personally met and the issue would be resolved. And that's where I think, and they, at that point of time, they were moving from a multi-channel approach to an omni-channel, that setting up all this analytics, the automation, the intelligence in the system on identification part, and then resolving them personally. So again, I mean, human intervention is definitely an add-on, and omni-channel never ever says that they want to sort of completely eliminate the human touch, but it's about sensibly driving that lead towards the human touch and then learning from it and reducing the complaints.
So Rupam, you are from the NBFC. Just wanted to understand from you, so what are the basically KPIs you basically see from the organization perspective for the success of omnichannel partners?
So from the KPI perspective, if you ask me, so we obviously, from a business point of view, we want to have a look at the reach that we are trying to achieve and whether what percentage we are achieving. So coming from NBFC, we used to be, as I told, brick and mortar. We used to be running on a brick and mortar model where 99% of our cases were logged in by the sales agent. Now from there to we have achieved now at least 30% of our D2C penetration that we wanted to. And there also, as I told you, also how much customer we are actually going to retain, okay, for cross-sell and all. That is also very important for us. So we every quarter we have our pre-approved offers and all floated in for the existing clients, and we see the interest and all. And also we get a taste of the journeys which we have built. So one journey is for a complete new customer, one is for existing customer for the first time, one is for a pre-approved journey. So in every journey we have our web analytics layer also embedded to see whatever data we can pick in from the customer, like going off the trail and all, and whether there are learnings that we can incorporate in the journeys and all to take care in the later.
Okay, so very good. We have at the earlier session we heard about not only about the customer experience, but we also heard about the employee experience before launching any product or we are building any part of a new initiative in our organization. We thought that that product basically should go through an employee experience, which indirectly also give a better customer experience. So using from the IDA part, how do you basically do some steps for your employee so that they can basically to improve their skill set in the training part. So what is the approach of your organization?
I think for any stakeholder, be it a customer or employee or anybody in the family also, that you would be engaged to know what is happening. So if you stay engaged, you would really know. So as long as you see that everything is an add-on, it will not happen, correct? It becomes a cost and ROI kind of thing. If you see it's a part of your engagement, then you will do right stuff. So if you are engaged with the employee in the right manner, you know what are needs are there, what are training needs are there, what are struggles are there, what kind of aspirations are there, what kind of promotion the person is expecting. So I think that keeping engagement, real engagement alive with your stakeholder principle we have to adopt in enterprises that data has zero value if there is no insight, and insight has zero value if there is no action. Correct? So data being oil, again I would say it's overrated because finally it has to be driven by action. So unless the insight is there, you can't drive the action. So data on its own is meaningless. So communicate, engage, analyze the data and take the action. That full cycle if you do, then it's worthwhile. Otherwise just analyzing the data or collating the data will not do that. So I think stay engaged and keep action driven focus will help you manage your stakeholder.
Great. So one final question from all of you. So what are different, you can say, your future forthcoming emerging trend, basically what you see which are shaping the future of basically omni-channel, and how you think basically business should prepare for this kind of changes? Any one liner from each of you?
So I think in terms of trends, we are looking at that aspect that while we might be saying, or so many companies might be saying that they have already entered into the realm of omni-channel marketing, but actually if you look at completing the journey, taking that action and resolving the issue, they would still be struggling to move between multi-channel and omni-channel. So how do you complete that story is something which is really important. And as much as you can bring intelligence into that, understanding those problems, that's where this can be achieved. For example, what we recently did was that we deployed multiple channels to reach out to our customers, and we have a huge customer base. But what we saw was that whatever we were sending to them, it could be a greeting on maybe a World Pharmacist Day, but they would come back with online orders. So they were struggling to reach out to us with some complaint or some order or some insight into the available inventory to the nearest shop. So we launched a program there. So that's where in terms of trend, what you're saying, bringing in e-commerce in pharmaceutical industry is something that people have to take, the companies have to take so as to reach closer to their customers, and then bringing in the elements of delivery, logistics, and ultimately the customer queries and complaints. So what we see is that while we might be there 80% or 70%, but even if the queries are being known to the shop managers and they want to sort of build that relationship with the customers, so that of course it then leads to a better NPS or a better average value, all of that. But the trend is really to sort of deploy more technology so as to finally close the loop and then carry on with that story, with that sort of purchase relationship with the customer. That's where I think the companies are really working towards. And I think when we were interacting in the coffee break with a couple of partners here, that's where a lot of partners here are bringing in those capabilities, where a lot of manual work is being now translated is being expedited through the implementation of tools. So I think that's where the trends are.
Yeah, thank you. Rupam, you want to add something?
Yeah, so from a data perspective, we know from the key emerging trends and all, we have account aggregator in quite a good swing nowadays. We have also ULI coming up, which is likely to be the next big thing about after UPI. So those things are there from a framework perspective, especially marketplace and all. We have Open API framework running for short-term, short loan slashes and all. But these all things are there. So from an organization point of view, you have to be proactive and you have to have a good technical development muscle at your end, along with a very good eye for tech security also, because you have thousands of APIs there. You don't want any data breaches and all. We have heard 2 days back there has been a significant data breach. And also you want to have whatever you do, whatever flexible you make your journeys be, you want to be within the contours of the regulatory framework. Like for any kind of consent, for any kind of data that is there to be taken by consent, you want to adapt to the consent mechanism. Okay, so these are the things also you have to be taken care of. So it's okay. There are multiple things that are there on the table. You have to take recourse to that, but you should know how effectively and efficiently to use those.
Yeah, thank you. Hasit, you want to close?
I think I'll repeat some of the things I said. I think the journey from here on will be around voice to voice transition, and voice becoming only interface for human to interact machine. The death of the keyboard, death of the screens. You will create a more and more headless applications and this thing where your voice will capture everything, and that would mean that your enterprise ecosystem should be API driven, not the screen driven in future. And I think the aspiration, as I said, I think we have to inverse, where you call your customer for the services and customers calls you for sales purpose. I think that is the aspiration we should have.
So great, very good closing remark. Where we calling to customer and then customer calling to us. Thank you to all panelists, and I would like floor to for the questions. If you have anything, you'd love to for the panel members.
All are starving.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So thank you, Mr. Bohra, for moderating the panel so well, and thank you to all our panelists for the views. And I would like to call upon stage Mr. Levi's Wilson, founder and CEO at Helucom, to do the honors. Please put your hands together.